How can I cannot recall what have I learned last week?
How can you forget? It is an important topic that we need to understand.
I'm sorry. I've been so busy last week. Please help me to remember what we've learned. Sharing is caring.
Okay, I'll help you. But you need to treat me nicely after this.
Sure, honey, I will.
Okay, now, listen carefully and pay attention. Don't you dare forget about it again.
Ooh, okay, sure, I will.
Last week, we have learned about hypothesis testing. So do you ring any bell?
Ooh, yeah. Now I remember, is it something about null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis, right?
Yeah, that's right, but that's only some part of it. We've learned more than that. Okay, let's start. Hypothesis testing is one of the most important part in statistics. This is where we decide if effect actually occur, treatments have effects, group differ from each other, and variable predict another. When we test statistical hypotheses, we are trying to see if something happened, and comparing against the possibility that nothing happened. First, nothing happened, or what we usually call the null hypothesis. Null hypothesis is where we didn't find an effect. Next, alternative hypothesis. It is when something happened. For example, there are effect of your treatment.
Oh. I see. So, I remember we've learned about steps of hypothesis testing. Could you tell me what are the steps?
Yup. That's right, there are 5 simple steps of hypothesis testing. First, you have to come up with your hypothesis. Secondly, you need to generate a sample. Next, you need to calculate summary statistics. After that, you need to determine the statistical test that will compare your summary statistics against the value determined by your null hypothesis. Last but not least, conclusion. Either do you reject or fail to reject the null hypothesis.
How about error in hypothesis testing?
There are type 1 and type 2 error. Type 1 error is where you incorrectly rejecting the null hypothesis, while type 2 error is when you fail to reject null hypothesis when you should have rejected the null hypothesis. I think that's about it. Do I left out anything?
I think I've heard about alpha and beta during the lecture.
Ooh, yeah. That's right. Thank you for reminding me. For alpha and beta, alpha and p-value. P-value less than alpha, reject the null hypothesis. P-value greater than alpha, fail to reject null hypothesis. While for beta and power, 1 minus beta is equal to power of study. I think that's all for now. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Now let's watch some movie.
Next time, please focus during the lecture.